Dr. Phil, I love that title. He says, do you mind telling your story on how you stopped using other Bibles and started using the King James, all because of polite challenge from a concerned brother?
Yeah, and that's wasn't really exactly that. Though that's so important. That's what changed my position. Only briefly did I ever use other Bibles. I used for a while. I used New American Standard, and I was just never comfortable. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know why. I hadn't been trained on this issue. I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel right in my devotions, in my preaching. There does exist a set of tapes of me teaching the book of James out of the New American Standard Bible back in the early 1980s that
Mm.
I have friends that like to make fun of me over. Um, uh, with friends like that, I'll never need an enemy. But it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just uncomfortable, so I quit. But then later on, not understanding the issue, I actually made a statement that's relative to Westcott and Hort. I made a statement about older and better manuscripts in a room full of preachers. And the preacher that was hosting this conversation didn't rebuke me. I now know that's a really foolish statement. I obviously didn't know it when I said it. And he asked if he could talk to me afterwards. Dr. Clinton Brainine. And he sat down and started to ask me questions. What makes you think older is better? And he just started taking me through some things. And then he gave me a copy of Wilbur Pickering's book, The Identity of the New Testament Text. And it sparked a year-long study on my part that opened my understanding on this. And at the end of that year-long study, I said, look, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to give from here on out, I trust the King James Bible. I'm going to give the King James Bible the benefit of the doubt. And I was sensitive to this, as I'm not going to be afraid to look at anything or afraid to study anything. But my position was that, and it was largely at that time historical position. This is the Bible God has really used.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony, I'm a bus kid grown up. The years I was a bus kid, I trusted the King James Bible explicitly. It wasn't until later years, my earliest years being a preacher, that I began to have questions, and it came from reading commentaries. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it hit me. I did a solid year study on this, and at the end of that year, I was right back to where I was as a bus kid,
Hmm.
trusting the King James Bible explicitly.
Hmm.
And so for over 40 years, that's been my position. And I never set out to be a speaker or a teacher or a writer on this subject. Just as I would comment on it, speak on it, people would ask me questions. I get questions virtually every day, have for years. People would ask me to do presentations on this, and eventually I would teach college courses on it. Eventually, write a book. And as I've gone on, nothing has made me shaken in that position in the least.
Hmm.
Now, to be honest, there's still a couple things I can't explain, but that doesn't bother me because I never thought I was infallible. I
Hmm.
know people who think they're infallible, but I didn't believe they're infallible, and I don't believe I'm infallible either. So the fact there's something I haven't figured out yet doesn't bother me. There's things I've wondered about for years and eventually found the answer on.
Hmm.
But individual Clinton Brainine that started me on that path, I'm an independent Baptist. Yell at me, challenge me, insult me. You don't get anywhere. He's kind, gracious, communicated in a thoughtful way, and it really was a major impact on my ministry,
Hmm.
and accomplished a great deal for me. And if he'd started out yelling at me, and matter of fact, I'd already been yelled at by Ruckmanites before that,
Yeah.
and it didn't help at all. But his kindness and his graciousness, his asking intelligent questions and pointing me the right direction without being my enemy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, was absolutely critical to the ministry that I have today.
Wow.